that music. This is FoosWeek, folks, your brand new weekly podcast here. That's Hannah Smith. There's Tom Robinson. I'm Adam Gilson. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, we just get together and talk about the week that just happened in foosball and the week that's about to happen in foosball, and maybe, a little bit in between. You never know. Before we really get into the show, I want to thank all the patrons out there that make Foosball Radio and everything else that we do possible. I'm going to just go down the list here. I got to thank Matt McCrory, who I saw this weekend. What a helpful guy. What a nice guy. Brian Schmidt, who I saw at TKO. When I say this weekend, I mean TKO. We're going to be talking about that. I did not get a chance to actually talk to Brian, unfortunately. Jay Teal of 3D Foos, who I did get the chance to talk to and who brought me the best bourbon-infused milk chocolate chocolates. I'm still thinking about those. Thank you, Jay.
Wow.
Jimmy Love, Reed Rector, Cameron Burrows, Rob Cutler, David Kalla, Jamie Kunst, Judy Schober, Clay Toomey, Dwayne Stewart, Mike Green, and of course, myself. I'm a patron as well. What's that old Head and Shoulders thing? I'm also a member. Or no, that's the Hair Club for Men. Now, whatever. Who cares?
I'm also a member.
But you don't. I'm mixing metaphors. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be talking to you, Hannah, and you, Tom. And this is a brand new thing. This is a FoosWeek episode 1. What do you think, Tom?
Well, first of all, I'm on the hard stuff tonight.
Oh my gosh.
No IPA.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah, seriously.
No, it's great. I think this is so cool because we get to do something that we don't ordinarily get a chance to focus on with Foosball, Foos Talk Live. This is all about the tournaments, man. This is the players. This is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Foos Talk Live is, as we were talking over the weekend, Hannah, is very focused now on the history of foosball. Well, obviously we talked to players and current events as well, but I think it's incredibly important to be archiving that, right? But here we go, talking about just basically this small, 2-week period, right? And our first in the past part that we're going to be talking about is one where Hannah Smith not only happened to be there, and this is why I'm really excited for you to be on this show, part of this show, a third of this show, Hannah, is that Tom and I play foosball, and I talk about foosball, and Tom talks about foosball, but you play foosball, and you were part of some record-breaking stuff this weekend at the tour kickoff. But before you even talk about that, if you want to talk about anything, whatever thoughts or things you want to say about anything, go ahead.
Foosball's foosball. You play foosball just like I play foosball, So
you play foosball.
There's really not a huge difference. It's not like you play, it's the same. But
right. That's fair. That's fair. I see what you're saying.
Thank you.
I see what you're saying.
I'm super excited to hang out and talk with you guys, as I usually am just that excited whenever I get to see Adam and hang out with him at the tournaments, or run into Tom and say, hey, what's up? How's it going? And those quick conversations are super cool. And often they could be something someone else wanted to hear. So I think that's kind of the platform we're rolling with, and, something a little newer. And I think that's awesome. So hopefully our audience enjoys it and has some input that they can, ask questions or, steer topics or any of that too. So super excited about it.
Yeah, me too. And also let's talk about this. That's one of the other larger differentiating factors between this and Foos Talk Live. Foos Talk Live, we are on Twitch and we do talk to the audience members, but this one specifically is, let's just talk about foosball. You show up, you talk about, if you're at the tournament that past weekend, if you're going to one, get in our Twitch channel. I've got it right there. I'm staring at it huge. It's like 20-point font for my old eyes. I can see it just fine. We're good to go.
Eyes?
Well, middle-aged eyes, but
what does it make my eyes dead? Really? Come on.
Well, you fake it, Tom.
Careful on the ageism here.
You're right. Damn it, Tom. All right. You're not wrong. Let me have a little espresso. I feel bad. You know what? Can I blame sleep deprivation? Hey, Hannah, what's it like for you coming back? We met each other at the airport yesterday, just randomly, in Lexington, Kentucky, which is one of my favorite airports, by the way. I love it. It's so cozy.
Quaint.
It's everything, man. It's clean. The security's nice. The people are nice. It's a breeze getting in and out of. Nice restaurants. Several nice restaurants, actually. And I like that. Yeah, I'm a fan. For sure.
But so you're going from Lexington. You're in Mississippi. Do you have to do 2 flights as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Seems like everybody basically does 2 flights. Tom, do you do when you go
Yes.
to Tornado
Oh
Champions?
yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep. Fly through Chicago.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think the
okay.
only one I heard was maybe Tracy Brubaker was like, we're gonna do a direct, from there to Denver. So I
Mm,
think that was the only person that I heard that only had one flight
okay.
back. Yeah.
Still, though, I mean, one of my favorite foosball memories since I started back getting in foosball was when Tornado Championships, my first year. So that was 2021 when we got
Mhm.
stranded. There was delays for 4 or 5 hours because there were storms in Chicago, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
so me and Jim Stevens and Tom and a few others were just sitting there for
Dave
4
Gumison.
hours. Dave Gumison, and where
Yep.
we met, you and Hannah, you and Bracklin showed up, and that was in that same seating area, and people would
Oh,
just
cool.
cycle through for the course of the next 4 or 5 hours. That was a lot of fun.
I've had some really wholesome moments in that airport.
Really?
Like I think one year I had to leave early, which was like early was, a 6 a.m. flight, I believe, Monday, and I was still in the draw from that like night before, and I was actually
Mm.
sitting and waiting in the final, and
Oh.
Delisa rolls in. She's like, "Hey, girl," and I was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Well, just got called up, table 1. Don't think I'm gonna make it." It was just like, "Oh, well, another thing I have to get forfeited out of." But I've had some cool
Oh.
moments in that airport with several foosball players.
So when did the TKO finally wrap? Does anybody know?
Oh,
Or is it
wow.
still going?
No, that's
No.
so let's get in that. Let's just dive right into Tom. I think that's a good thing because I want to start because I'd never been to one before. I mean, that was one of
Mm.
the big reasons why I wanted
Okay.
to go to Tour Kickoff. Was this just see what it was like, and it was yeah, it's live. Keith is asking if it's live. Why does it not look live? Just because of Tom's eye joke?
Uh-oh.
Do we look dead?
No, I
Do we have
see.
trouble
I'm waving my
with
hand.
this?
I have technology. Look at this. Is that like Inception? I'm watching me, watching me, watching you. Um, so I had no expectations for this whatsoever, right? And I've heard all kinds of different things about TKO, blah blah blah. We're okay. Reese Roberts. Oh my gosh,
He's on.
you can't
See,
quit.
there's proof right there
Reese
from
Reese
London.
Reese Roberts cannot quit Foosball Radio, and we're all the better for it. Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
Reese. Super
Oh
fan out
yeah.
of London. Um, so I had no expectations, and you know what it is when you're like thinking, and I think especially coming from the West Coast, it was not, it's a long haul to get out there. It's a whole day of travel, and I'm like, if I was going just to play, I would really want as much of a review as possible before going out there, because it's quite the investment. But if I was actively playing again, like trying to really go up in the circuit, I would make TKO even on the West Coast something that I went to for a myriad of reasons. One, I was everything finished relatively pretty quickly and easily. Like they were done with all the open events, most of the events by Sunday evening. And there was a couple of different straggler events that were going on, but I don't think it was like a finish till 5 in the morning kind of thing. I think it was
Okay.
No, like I think we were even done by like 1:30 or 2. Like I
Mm.
was sitting up there
Okay.
and I was like, weird, the matches are gonna be over before everybody has the bar closed down tonight. Like how
right.
weird
Go
is that
figure.
for and so it was I think it went really, really well, especially for the turnout. I don't we really weren't expecting that many players is kind of the consensus of what I gathered from talking to people
That
through the
was
weekend. So that was awesome.
right. No, it was. So so the original numbers were like 297, but and this thing we'll talk about later. But I was very fortunate to get to sit down and record a podcast of On the Road with Mary Moore. She sat down with me and
Wow.
it was supposed to be
Cool.
10 minutes and we chatted for an hour. It just, you know, two foosball geeks talking about foosball and something that we were passionate about. It's going to roll that way. Right. Anyways,
Sure.
long story longer, she said it was like in 310s, 315s, whatever. Right. But she
Nice.
said it was way more than she was expecting. She was not expecting that, especially on the heels of
Mhm.
the 30th anniversary last year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyways, I'll just get to my point. The thing ended on time where you would expect it to, and it was hugely competitive, and there was a lot of good energy and competitiveness in the room. It did not feel like, and I said this on the broadcast, it didn't feel like a party tournament. I'm not saying people weren't enjoying themselves, and I think everybody knows when I say a party tournament, we all know what I mean, right? We know
Mhm.
those are those tournaments, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this felt like if you're kicking off a year and you're wanting to compete, this was it. That's my take, was that like, and I think the brackets were about as deep as you would expect for a tournament of that size, but they were stacked. Everywhere you looked, it was just like, good players that I knew were playing other good players in the early rounds, which, that just tells you there's just a bunch going on. So anyways, I don't know. Hannah, you were there too.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. Like, and that's the reason I go to this tournament every year. I found it that this was such a good idea for me to randomly go to this tournament that we don't usually fit into our schedule, 5 years ago. And we did it, and we got there, and the crew was kind of like, well, what are we gonna do? There's no Bourbon Street, there's no 6th Street, there's nothing to go out and party and do. And that was kind of in my party and day. And we just all sat around and hung out. And it was like, well, we could have done this at the house, but cool. And then, the next year it grew into something different for me. And since then it has grown into something very special for me. It's my like get yourself right tournament because, I take off a lot through the winter and I enjoy other things. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to go play foosball. Well, yeah, sure, kid, but you haven't played foosball competitively in 2 months. And so it's a bit of a reality check for me, which I thoroughly enjoy. I need, and I'm so okay with it being about not a party tournament. And because it's about foosball for me. It's like that's why I love having Worlds there. Controversial topic, but I love having Worlds in Kentucky because I'm showing up to play foosball. I don't care about staying out late and whatever. I'm here to grind, and that's what I use this tournament for, and I have in the past few years, and it really is a get yourself together tournament for me, and I enjoy it, of course, and it's easy for me to get to Kentucky, so made my friends there with Freddie and the guys in the restaurant. They're all great, so it's a good fit.
Freddie, what's his whole name? Freddie Shanks, right?
Freddie Shanks, that
Yeah.
man.
I was gonna sit down with him this weekend too, and this is for anybody that doesn't know. Freddie Shanks is like legendarily, not just in foosball, I think, but just anybody that goes through that the Clarion and any other non-foosball related stuff. They all know that guy. He's the bartender.
He's a
there.
staple, man.
Yeah,
he's a staple in the community.
And he's so freaking. Now, by the way, there's a couple of people in chat. Keith, one of them. If you have anything you want to add in or any takeaways, let's talk about it. Because I'm curious to hear. Keith, of course, was. So I was real quick. I want to come back to that. So Keith and I were in the booth with Inside Foos this past weekend. I was on table 2 mostly, and he was on table 1. And so he covered all the big matches that were going on. So Keith, if you
kudos by the way,
yeah,
good job by the way, really really good job.
But yeah, Hannah, you say it's your warm up, right? But you have now 5-peated in women's doubles there.
Yeah.
Which is unprecedented. I don't think there's a lot of anybody that at a large tournament like that have won that many in a row, outside of maybe a Tony Sprademan of the same at the same event at the same tournament over and over again.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, we were actually looking at the banners, which is such a cool aspect of any tournament is being able to look around the room and be like, wow, look what a run they had, or like weird, they swapped up partners, little things like that. So it's very cool. For me, it's nostalgic, and we went back and we kind of looked through, and I was like, do you think anyone has won 3-peat back-to-back here? And she's like, nope, they haven't. And they haven't even won several with the same partner. So that was really special for Sullivan and I. This was our 3rd, but I had won 5. This was make 5 for me. So super, super exciting. And real quick, Keith says, yeah, I think Freddie said he's been working there since like 87. So... very true. So I used to play foosball back in the day, like 2007, 8-ish, and we would all load up and drive up to Kentucky. Well, Freddie knew me back then, and like,
wow,
he knew me when I was just old enough to drink and when I probably wasn't, and now that I'm old enough and I don't anymore. So it's just like, Freddie he's such a staple in this foosball community. I would love to hear something from him, and he might be coming to Vegas.
Really?
So be prepared.
Wow.
Yeah, we tried to talk him into coming to Vegas just to hang out, and he's like, I'm not working. I just want to come and hang out with you guys and like see
there you
Vegas.
go.
So
that's
look
awesome
for Freddie if you're in Vegas.
That'd be awesome.
I know, yeah.
So Hannah, speaking of which, you probably still get proof, don't you?
Not much.
Not much,
No,
really? No. I mean,
sometimes.
if I were the bartender, I definitely have to proof you for sure. Yeah.
I thought your eyes were all dead. Oh, that's probably why, huh?
That's
Oh,
one,
stop.
You said,
Oh, stop.
So Tom, you are on the outside looking in this weekend, unfortunately, but you were still kind of watching. Was there anything
Yeah.
from your perspective that you kind of were like, oh wow, or want to know more about from any matches you might have seen? Or
Well, just a little background. The TKO for me was the first time I went was
oh,
2019,
you've been to one before.
and oh yeah, that
Okay.
was in fact the very first time that I went to a quote unquote foosball tournament outside of New York State.
Wow.
So it was a great experience, and I got a chance to meet Mary there for the very first time, and this is when right after Foosball Radio had kind of kicked off. So I was there with Chuck Dooley and
Yeah.
Nino DeJean, and we got a chance to sit down in Mary's suite. By the way, we set up the microphones and interviewed Todd LaFredo. What a great time that
Did
was! What
she?
memories!
Yeah, those are some of the most famous episodes of Foosball or Foos Talk Live or Foosball Radio or what it was at the.
Foosball Radio,
How
yeah.
did you
Before,
did did Mary offer that to use the suite to record it?
yes, oh yeah,
Yeah,
she was very generous,
that's what she said.
very gracious.
When I told her about that, that was the other thing that I was because I just mentioned, hey, I want to do some podcasting, blah blah blah. She goes, oh,
Mhm.
I've got a suite right down. Yeah, I can't talk like I don't know how to talk like that. That's not. I can't. She's like she's got that drawl, and I just can't do it. So I'm not going to do it anyways. But she was very accommodating. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah,
This is nice. But so was it? And this is my other question because this is the thing that really got me, and I love this about the event. Was that it was in that gymnasium? Was it always in there?
right.
Has it been in there in previous? Well, I know it was in there last year, but was it that the night 2019 or was it in the?
Yeah, it was the main 2019 is the main ballroom.
Okay.
It's
So the
as
one
far
you're
as I
used to.
remember, it's always been in the main ballroom. I believe
Hmm.
one of the years, you know how like in Worlds the pits are out around the corner, like by the restrooms and where the food usually is. One year they closed that part down and like they didn't have tables out there
Hmm.
for kickoff, but they did have them in the ballroom. And I don't know if you guys walked through there, but I probably shouldn't have, but I did.
You did?
And they are yeah, I did. They're renovating the new ballroom, and it's going to be like 10,000 square foot, like
Wow,
very nice, and
Yeah.
it should be done in time for Worlds.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll make a
I think
difference.
Mary said it was going to be time in almost I think for nationals even, which the
Yeah.
way that she
Oh.
was. But it said do not enter, Hannah.
Yeah, I entered.
Oh,
I
you
entered.
wow.
Oops.
Oh,
Was it
I
cool
had to
looking
see
though?
what's
Was
the
it like
Jessica.
statute of
scary?
limitations on that?
At least 2
Yeah,
days.
easy. Yeah,
Was
for
it?
sure.
Was it like? I mean, can you? Like, could you? Was there a footprint? Like, did you know what it's going to look like? Is it going to be like? "Bah!"
Not
Like,
not so much. I know that it was super super open. They were redoing some of the flooring and stuff like that when I was kind of walking through, so I didn't get to make it very far in there, but I did what I could
yeah.
to get the
Wow.
inside scoop on the new
Did you
ballroom.
Did you come like down from the ceiling like with the Mission Impossible music?
Yeah.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
You're so. Like, all right.
Yeah, I mean basically.
Yeah.
Do they have lasers like set up so they could trigger? You've got to avoid. Oh, never mind.
No, I
Yeah.
like it. I dig it. Hannah was in Ocean's 8 this weekend while we were playing foosball, or maybe some Ocean's 11. You got to blow like the flower out there to see where the lasers are. She's like a spy.
Next time we'll have to get the team together and steal the main trophy.
Yeah.
Hold it
Absolutely.
hostage.
We can do it.
I don't.
We can do it.
I'll be with Freddie. You two do what you need to do.
Freddie's actually who walked
Freddie.
me through the ballroom. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
But he would.
Yeah,
Don't
he
get him
would.
in trouble.
No, he's
Get him
I'm
in
just
trouble.
kidding. He didn't.
he was very yeah, he's awesome. He's one of the cool things. But I like that about TKO is the stalwartness of Freddie. But wait a minute, Tom, did you answer my question?
Regarding
What you? Oh, no, you didn't. I
what I
interrupted.
took away
I inter-
from being
I
being
totally-
on the outside.
Yeah, I totally
Well-
interrupted you, and then you talked about 2019, and then I was like, oh,
Right. 2019 was awesome, and I wished I could have gone the next year, but it was COVID. So, yeah, that didn't work out so well.
no,
But no, it's of course I've been back there since, for Worlds and this kind of thing. But no, it was a great first experience when I got to step out of my little cocoon called New York State and see what real players are like. I mean, that was great. But yeah, I mean, watching this weekend through Inside Foos and of course Twitch TV, man, I just wish I could have been there. It just clearly, it's one of those things that you just got to be there. You got to understand what it's like to be there to get fully appreciate. But
yeah, I would, 100%. And that was the thing I was trying to say was that gym. What I like about it is it adds a lot more energy. The solid wood, the solid wood, the floors and the cinder block walls. It's just louder, more energetic, and it just feels more, for lack of a better term, athletic. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
sports like. Yeah.
Sportsy, sports. Did
Yeah,
you
and
get that,
I
Hannah?
think maybe oh, yeah. And I think you might have mentioned this to me. It kind of gives it a European feel. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
maybe someone else
No,
mentioned
no,
that to me. But it did. It
yeah.
definitely did. And oddly enough, the only time I've ever seen it in that room was Nationals last year, which was right before I literally left from Nationals to go to France. And I was like, if someone would have said that back then, I'd been like, what do you
You're
mean? I don't
talking about
know.
right.
But now I get it. Yeah, and it totally has that European feel.
Right. Yeah, because by that point I had covered a bunch of remote tournaments from Europe, and it's all has that same thing. You know, it's in gyms
Sure.
and stuff like that, which is I think really adds to it. But
It's like a stadium feel
yeah,
when you watch the World Cup stuff. And it's unbelievable to see all those people just gathered around watching foosball.
right.
Um, incidentally, Hannah, so what are your plans for the next World Cup?
World takeover. No.
Yeah.
World domination.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, sadly, I think it's going to be in 2025 instead of,
Mm,
every other year like usual, which is kind of a bummer.
right.
But we're really excited about going. I hope I get to be on the team. I can't wait to compete if I am on the team, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get ready for it. So,
So what makes you think you wouldn't be on the team? That's what I want to know.
oh, I'm not sure. You never know. Foosball is subjective, and foosball is different. In
Right.
2025, we may have 10 new young guns that come up and beat me in everything between now and then, or some of the old veterans come and smack me around so bad that they don't want me on the team anymore. So it's always up in the
Wow.
air.
Well, I love your humble approach. I mean, that certainly makes a lot of sense. But I'm wondering who would that be, to kick you off the
You
team?
never know. You never know.
What can
But
do you
don't
care?
worry, I'm gonna
You
do my best to make sure it doesn't happen,
all
of
right. Well,
course. But
who's a great threat when it comes to that? Who do you think might do that to you?
well, the team is a little different. It's in like a weird transitional stage,
Mm-hmm.
especially since we have an extra year. So I can't really say, who of the veterans would not go because they're still so relevant. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But, maybe that would be an easier question in 3 years, if they decide not to play or if, something comes up or,
Mm,
injuries happen for any of us or life. So you just don't know. And we were clearly missing a few of the greats this last go round. And
right.
I'm sure they'll be back and ready to go and it'll have a different feel. So I'm not really sure about the Team Cup or World Cup deal
Mm.
just yet, but if you ask me in a year and a half or so, I'll probably have a more realistic answer.
Better idea. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you.
sure.
So
Cool.
so Hannah, this weekend while you were playing, was there anybody that stood out to you? Like any stories that you were watching unfold across any matches or any events?
Well, I commentated a lot with Keith,
Yeah.
and we had a fun time watching Dan Schumeyer,
Yeah. Schumacher.
and
Yes.
Kurt Ackerman.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
I had never met Kurt. I met Kurt. I had never met Dan. And
Mm-hmm.
after the first match, they were recoiling and woo
Yep.
and throwing their hands up and hitting a little dance afterwards. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I got to meet this guy.
Oh
Give
yeah.
me a minute. So like afterwards, I leave the booth and go introduce myself. We actually lost to the match ball in pro doubles.
No.
So I got to
Oh,
see his game.
You
Yeah,
and you and Sully.
Kenneth
It's Ken. Oh, you and
Kenneth
Ken.
Dale.
Oh, you played with
Hmm.
Ken in pro doubles.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And that was cool. And the cool thing about it was like, tournament's winding down, pro doubles is still rolling, and we have the losers bracket kind of playing through, and all of it's on table one, back to back to back. And we got to watch those guys play foosball for I know like 3 hours. It seemed like they were on that table forever, working their way back through the losers bracket, and it was just really fun to watch those two play. So
Yeah. She
that
was
was
a
one
great.
I enjoyed.
Yeah. I don't know Kurt very well. I met Shu a couple times at tournaments, and he's a nice guy. I talked to him somewhat this weekend. Unfortunately, there's just not enough time in the weekend. I wanted to do a recording, a podcast with him, but yeah,
mm,
him and his partner were entertaining, maybe contentious with each other at times and everybody else perhaps.
Sure.
But I mean, there's just that's you play hard, right? I mean, I don't. I
yeah.
there was nothing untoward or like cheating or anything that I was picking up. It was just
Sure.
like fired up. Let's go. So that was entertaining as
Yeah.
heck.
I think I have two others that I kind of want to just touch on that are like
Sure.
randomly popping into my brain that I'm like, you know what? I think that'll be good. One of them is Colton Patrick. He's 15-year-old kiddo. Comes out, plays with his dad, Wayne Patrick, who gets inducted to the
He.
Kentucky Hall of
Oh
Fame this
yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. and then plays for Top of Winners in pro doubles. And
Whoa.
actually, oddly enough, some kind of flaw here, but we're going to address it. He was in the beginner doubles final in his break from playing for the Top of Winners in pro doubles.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How does that
And he
work?
got double dipped by my girl Cheryl Lowe and her partner Terry Lamb. So it was like weird at the talent range, it's kind of all over the place. So,
Huh.
yeah. That was different
15.
to watch.
Wait,
Yeah, he's 15.
was that a scheduling issue or just you just how the rankings kind of?
No idea. But hey,
But I mean, that's just how I don't think there's any kind of ranking system in the world that can like. There's an outlier, right, or an outlier, an
Yeah.
aberration. Like there's a what's the word? Like I don't know. Like those you got those mega talents that come out and just like blow
It's an
everybody away.
anomaly.
Yeah. So what are
Just
you gonna do if there's
yeah.
playing on the different? But I remember
and
watching him.
yeah, and it's hard for me because everybody's like, well, it kind of cancels out. He may be high rookie because he's playing with his dad. And I was like, he's playing forward. You can't, I mean,
No,
no
Uh-huh.
offense to Wayne Patrick, he's a beast, absolute beast.
yeah.
But they swapped around a lot, and it wasn't like he had to
Mm.
play around Colton. Colton was
Huh.
he is a strong player, and he has been. And
Yeah.
I'm just really glad he got to shine. And I was really rooting for him with his dad. Like how cool would it have been to win pro doubles with your dad at
Right?
the tournament he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I thought that was a really, really cool matchup there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That was the other thing, and I want to hear your other one. But just I love that about regional tournaments, going to so many recently, is that you get to see the regional stories of the people that get inducted in the locals. I don't know him. There's a lot of players that I don't know from different regions, especially on the East Coast. I think I was telling, I forgot who was talking about it this weekend, but when I was playing like heavily, like a lot touring, I never really went past Dallas. All the big
Mm.
ones that I went to were basically Dallas or closer because it wasn't really move on that side of the country yet. I mean, I know it was happening, but it wasn't like Tornado Worlds was at in Dallas at that time, so I never went further than that, right? So I never got to know any of the locals, the local legends and stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. And you're right, that kid is good.
Yeah, yeah. Super cool. And I love, like you said, I do love hearing the cool stories because a lot of them that get inducted are a little bit older than I am. And, maybe I missed that generation or that like section of their life and play that got them to the Hall of Fame. And so
Hmm.
that's always cool for me. And to hear the backstory is always really nifty.
Do you
Yeah.
think this youngster who's 15 is going to be at other tour stops this year or soon?
Yeah, I believe so. His dad was kind of like, we're going to make it a point now to go to more tour stops this year. Like, I
Cool.
think he's kind of
Awesome.
like got it like, hey, he's really serious about this,
Hmm.
and I think his dad's going to help him get that experience he needs for sure.
Who's the other one that popped up in your head?
Oh, Tony Gashi.
Hmm.
Super interesting. Okay, let me paint the picture for you. This
Yeah.
guy I've personally never seen. Super tall, super intimidating looking, shoots the ball super hard, and like has an array of very cool shots and setups and tricky stuff. But man, he just pounds the ball. And to look at him, you're like, God, wow, super intimidating, right? Well, I actually commentated one of his matches. And I was like, wow, who is this guy? What's going on? Well, Mario Yanuzzi was texting me and he was kind of like filling me in and like kind of gave me a little bit of backstory. Like he used to play on the Fabi tables. I'd never personally heard of a Fabi table.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool. And so once again, after the match, I commentated and went up, introduced myself, said, hey, what's up? Who are you? What's going on? And he was like, yeah, my name's Tony and I'm from Albania and I live in Canada now. And I was like, oh, well, when'd you
Cool.
move? How'd you move or whatever? He was like, yeah, there was a war there and my whole entire family kind of, got out of there and got out of the danger. And after the war, we went back to check it out and it just wasn't the same. So I'm
Mm.
living in Canada and, he brought a great group of Canadian guys down with him and he was just a joy. He was super nice. Played some pickup games and stuff after and I really thought a whole lot about that Canadian crew. They were a great group to be around.
One of the things that we've noticed about the Canadians, especially in this part of the country, of course, they come down from Montreal and Quebec, but they're so disciplined. Each and every one of
Absolutely.
them. From the very
Mhm.
beginning, I remember years ago going to a New York State Championship, one of my first, and playing in the beginners division. Um, I'm trying to think of her name now. Last name was Chin, but she might have been 17, 18. She said she had been playing for maybe 6 months. And she had
Right.
such a disciplined game and just rolled me over. I mean, I wasn't much of a threat anyway, but I mean, she was just really, really poised and really had no issue whatsoever in defeating me badly. But that seemed to be the case for a lot of the Canadians. Very
Sure,
strict.
and go ahead.
Yeah, no, just very strict and very regimented in their practice.
Yeah, and it was odd for me because could watch his foosball game, and I told Keith commentating, this guy hasn't only played Tornado; he plays another kind of table, and that's
Hmm.
kind of when Mario, pitched the little fun tidbits there, and that's cool to be able to see that and to recognize, oh, this guy's a different style. And you talk to him, and he's like, are you going to go to more tour events? Why haven't we kind of seen your name? You're up here handling expert and pro divisions. And he's like, yeah, this is my third tournament, so I'm going to try to do some more tournaments. And I thought it was really cool. Like you said, he had a very, poised game for only a few tournaments on Tornado. So looking to see what he does in the future. I think that would be really cool.
What was he doing that you could tell that he was multi-table
The
experience?
setups, a lot of the setups, especially on the 3-bar when he was playing singles, he had some, really tricky things that I was like, that doesn't look right for Tornado. And, like pretty
Mm.
much like a one-touch game almost. And he had a lot of different shots and just the way he moved the ball around. I don't know. It was just like something in my brain was like, this is not strictly Tornado. I can tell you what it looks
Bunzini.
like.
It's a Bunzini.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Or
Yeah,
something
there's
fast,
yeah.
like a fast game. And it was really cool that was actually correct. And I wasn't just talking noise.
Hawking noise.
Talking
Oh,
noise.
talking noise. I said hawking noise.
Here we go.
Is,
Cool.
is that? Can we take that one down? I mean, there's another one of those Hannah-isms.
Hannah.
Is
Uh-oh.
That reminds me, I need to
yeah.
post that. I haven't posted that. We could post that.
What's that?
Whatever. The TNA, or for those of you who would like to look at our Patreon, it's patreon.com/Foosball Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that covers basically the FoosWeek, not covers, but it's part of Foosball Week is part of it. Foos Talk Live is part of it. The podcast we're going to do this weekend was part of it. My Greatest, got to chat with Sullivan Rue this weekend, Hannah Smith, Mike Genshin, Mary Moore. And just a lot of fun stuff that we'll be getting out there. But anyways, the TNA is the podcast, the weekly exclusive podcast of Patreon members that Tom and I do. And that's where we let down our hair and get a little silly
Well, yeah,
as much as we can.
that can happen.
11:30 in the morning or 2:30 your time. So at this tournament, there was a couple of names that really stuck out to me. One of the big reasons, not one of the big reasons. Well, no, I guess so as a fan. I've been hearing Ken Dale's name a lot. Yeah, a lot all last year. And I finally got a chance to watch him play this weekend a lot. And I'm just like, I want to know who is going to, if anybody's going to get on his 3-bar. He shoots a tic tac, but it's not a tic tac in my mind. I'm trying to think of a different word for it. It's like a smooth tack or a something. It's not a tic tac in the traditional sense that I know it to be, and I think that's what makes it so hard to block. Right? I mean, does that jive with you, Hannah? Like you played him? No, you played with him.
Yeah, I played with him this tournament. I played with him or against him the tournament before. But yeah, he's got an awesome game, and something sticks out to me. So I don't always copy people's games, but like Bracklin and I have something where we're playing around the house, and it's like, all right, we're gonna play like Kendall this match, and so like we try to
Oh,
replicate
really?
his 3-bar. Yeah,
Cool.
That's so
and we don't
cool.
do that with. I know, and we do it with like several people, but that was one that we really enjoy, like playing
So
like Kendall.
so when you try to
So
when you replicate my game, do you go just kind of hang out at the bar and shout?
I do a lot of left-handed, and then I point like this.
I do.
Yeah, I learned that one this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's got a lot of
That
legs
could be
to it.
from the disco era.
No, that's just
Yeah.
for me being obnoxious. Actually, that's for my
That's
friendship.
it
with
going
football.
in.
Yeah, no. When you track it slowly, it didn't work this weekend for that much for me because I'm so out of practice. I couldn't. But but yeah, no. I'm excited to watch him this year, and I'm excited to see. So he won pro singles
Again.
and
Again.
he, I see him winning a lot of pro events, and I'm just curious, does it translate to the higher levels? Where does he go from here, especially depending on how much he's touring? I don't know. Seems like he tours around. Where does he? I don't know where he's out of. I know he's. I don't know where he's out of.
He's from Peru, but I know that he was originally working on Mary's Crew when he first came over, and he made a lot of changes to his games because he got to tour so often. And then I think he took a break and did something in like politics maybe, or like a big energy deal. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And he was a big guy over there, and then he came back and said, I want to go back on tour. So I think he's just
Oh, okay, good.
helping set up and all.
We'll probably be seeing them a lot. Now I remember I have this memory at Sunday night or Monday morning, when they're doing Teardown. I was finishing up. I had just finished my podcast with Mary, and I was just kind of walking down back to the hall we were just like, small talking, whatever. And Kenneth was running by with the boxes, and the foosball table boxes and setting them up. And I walk away and I come back and I had one last thing I was going to tell Mary, and then she just kind of was joking. She was just laughing and telling me, "Oh, I was telling Ken, to make sure that he lines those up with the serial numbers. The box has got to have the serial number of the table because he's running them out there." And he said, "Oh no, I am." And she goes, "How?" And he goes, "Oh, I've got them all memorized.
Memorized?
All the serial numbers and locations and everything like that."
How many tables?
35, 30
Wow.
something.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know
Wow.
if that's some insight into the kind of mindset he has or mind that he has, but if you're interested in figuring out how to beat somebody like that, there's a tidbit.
This is
Yeah.
something we revealed when we talked to Johnny Horton that this guy had such a photographic memory. He remembered every single player he ever played against in major tournaments, and when it happened, what day it happened.
Right. That speaks to
That's
something, right? I
that's the
mean,
mind, right? Yeah.
Annie, do you have that kind
Uh,
of
Yeah.
recall?
Usually I do pretty well with
Oh,
photographic things. I'm pretty good. My
yeah.
mom like memorized a phone book like all the way through like H just for fun one day when she was like younger.
wow.
Really?
And she can still do it to this day. I'll be like, hey, what's, Tom Brown's number? And she'll be like, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. Like yeah, I get a
Wow.
little from her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kenneth does that every tournament. He had it that way at Louisiana too. So it's like you can swap around the locations of the tables wherever. He's got it. So very, very, very cool, I think.
It's an extraordinary ability, and I think that certainly speaks loudly to the skills of top players. No question.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, one of the other two things that stood out to me this weekend, just name out of nowhere, and watching them play for the first time was Evan Jones. Am I saying that right? I believe he's out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Holy monkey, that guy! Like I saw him play. I called the amateur singles final match, and it was great. What you expect. Amateur level, that level of experience is good. In fact, everybody at every level was playing good this weekend, and I'm going to talk about that later. But and then the guy that won that plays Evan Jones in open singles the very next match on that same table, and I called that match. And this Evan guy was just like, "What are you talking about? What is going on?" The aerials were going all over the place. There was just like the guy was parking like he was double. It looked like he had 3 buses triple parked or something, and he needed to get out of there. And I was like, "This is crazy." So and then a couple hours later, I come up to the booth, and the Shannon Coley's sitting up there, right, watching Tony Sprademan playing. By the way, Tony tripled this weekend. And anyway, so
Hmm.
Tony was playing Evan in singles, and they went to, I think it was match point, and it was just
Wow.
doing all kinds of wild stuff. And I was talking to Shannon, and Shannon's like, "Yeah, this guy, he's fearless, basically playing Tony. He doesn't care who it is." Um, so I don't know. I want to watch that guy if he plays more like the stuff that he could do. Like, are you familiar with his game, Hannah?
Yeah, actually, Evan and I kind of grew up through foosball together.
Oh, you
So,
did?
No
yeah,
kidding.
kind of. So, from North Carolina, I believe, moved to Georgia for art school. He's like a really great, like really phenomenal artist. And we had several conversations about that and about, some of his work and his upcoming art shows and stuff like that. So, super cool guy. Has a great dog named Ace. He was there all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Um, but yeah, Evan and I played, back in the day. And I say that like the 17 and under stuff, it was like Midori, myself, Justin, Chenard, his friend Colin actually played. That was kind of our little crew back in the day. Before we all kind of grew up, got older, got out of foosball, got back in it. But recently, I think I was in Kentucky. It might have been Worlds or it may have been kickoff last year. I'm not sure. But I'm watching, like halfway watching, just kind of wandering around, and I see Greg Mendel play Evan Jones in singles. And I walk over, and Evan's, I think it's third game, or open singles, it's third game, and it's like 4-3. Well, Evan gets a cool block, makes it 4-4, blocks a 5, gets it to the back, and he sets up an aerial and dunks an aerial to win the game. And I
Wow.
lose
Against
it. I'm just like,
Greg.
what?
Wow.
That was great. You know what I mean? And Greg was even like, Hey, that was
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
good. That was good, kid. So I know he has a super fun game to watch, and he can be structured as well. But I think his game's way cooler whenever he kind of lets it fly. So
Wow.
10 out of 10 for Evan for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, seriously. And take on Greg Mandel. And Greg Mandel, by the way, was like our mentor back in the day here in the 518. He taught
Sure.
a lot of us how to play, present
Yeah, I
company
think a lot of
included.
Greg as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, who's the third, Adam?
The
Spill the
the
beans.
third, so it's not a who, it's a what, and it was the juniors. The juniors playing this
Oh,
weekend was
Mm.
just absolutely fantastic, and I think I don't like how do I say this? Like talking about kids playing foosball is a touchy subject for me because I think it puts undue pressure on them that they don't always need, because they're just trying to have fun. They're just kids, right? And I think oftentimes I didn't experience that because I didn't really start really like playing and doing well until I was like 19 or 20. But I grew up playing, right? But not on not on tour. And I just always remember thinking, I hated the term, he's really good for a kid. I just couldn't stand that because it's just like, well, okay, great. Like, what does that mean? That's like it's insulting in so many ways, right? So when I talk, I try to be as respectful as I can when I talk about these junior players that are playing, because we have to understand that they're still kids. They have lives. They're doing what they're doing. They're probably there for any number of reasons, way different than adult reasons, right? So, that being said, watching the level of composure that I saw this weekend, especially in junior singles, I didn't see any junior doubles matches on table two, but the junior singles, I did the winners of the losers and then the finals, and it was in the winners of losers, it was the Campofiore brothers,
Mm.
Virgil and one of the two brothers that were there, Virgil and Paul, and it was just awesome. It was awesome to see them play because of the composure that they had. The ability was, it was there. It's like what you expect. They've been playing for a couple of years, and it was good. But the fact is that like if they were feeling like they wanted to go run and hide under their table or anything like that, they were handling it better than I ever could, and it was just awesome to see that. And then the finals, Paul went on to the finals to play Brady Worowski. Now, Brady's father is there, Mike. I saw him playing in a couple matches. And again, the composure, it was silly. Paul came in and got to the second set. And it was just like, it was fascinating for two reasons. One, it was fascinating to see the various experience levels that occur from the amateur level, expert level, pro level above, because I saw a lot of that on table two this weekend. But it really speaks to how important it is to have like depth, like a big toolbox of things that you can do, right, as the other player figures you out. And you saw this, and I saw this happen. I'm kind of shifting gears many times at the different experience levels where it just a wall was hit, right, and it
Mm.
was just like you just kept doing the same thing over and over because you don't really have anything else to do or think of to do. But to see these young gentlemen play in that kind of setting with there's the lights on them, there's the cameras, they're in table one, and I kind of feel bad in hindsight because I went down there and I was like, oh, how do you pronounce their names? I want to make sure I get them because we're broadcasting, and they looked at me like, and I was like, oh, maybe they didn't realize that, but maybe I shouldn't have said that to them. Why do they need any more pressure? But it didn't matter. They all still played their hearts out, and that was to me again, and that's the other thing. I don't want to put undue pressure on the younger generations of Foosers that think that they need to take care of whatever it is to keep playing or whatever. But it was neat. It was neat to see. So that was my third thing, my third takeaway as far as playing was concerned. There's a bunch more, but I mean those are the top three off the top of my head here.
Those kids are just good kids. Their dad, I think a lot of their dad, he takes them to all,
Mm-hmm.
several tournaments, and they're all like brothers and sisters. Yeah, they love each other, but you can like see the love between these kids. Like
Yeah.
they
Mm.
genuinely take care of each other. The baby, they were taking care of him. Sitting him there and feeding him and handing him off to somebody. Let him, hey, can you get so and so? And they all just work together so fluidly. And I'm sure that's instilled from their parents. That's awesome. And you could just see that those kids really care about each other, and they care about foosball, and they're all so polite and they're just great. Hats off. Great
Yeah.
job.
Absolutely.
Speaking of families, saw the name Lueris coming up quite a bit this last
Yeah.
weekend,
Shayla.
Yeah.
and the name Balkos. So there's a couple of really top families making some headway. I got to say, Eric Balkos has done a great job with his kids, and Sandy with her kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to see second generation foosball players.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see the family dynamic, and it's crazy to me to see these kids growing up and like, oh, you're coming to this tournament, your parents aren't here? Like, wow, like that's awesome. Like you're finally there. So it's cool watching that kind of transition and um because I was that way, people saw me that way. Wow, you're here without your dad? And I was like, yeah, actually I am. But I think that's really special to get to see that happen.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. But and see, so yeah, so Jacob and I were there. Eric, the dad, was there. Eric and I played some pickup games on Sunday night, which I need to apologize to him for because they were not good. I was not no bueno. And of course Shayla was winning. I think she took a couple firsts in different events. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them were just doing well, and Jacob continues to impress in everything that he does. So
He's
I don't know.
fierce, man. He's got this exuberance when he plays.
He's
Saw
so
him play in Michigan State. He was just killing it.
he's so freaking nice though. Like
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
table, like watching him. But that was the other thing that was so much fun watching him and Sullivan and um Isabel just goof around.
Yep.
It was just fun. It's just good stuff. I don't know. It was a nice way to kick off the year for me, foosball wise, was that tournament. That level, that place of what do we call it? Like a safe place? I don't know if that's the right word. Just a place to compete and play foosball but also have fun. It was cool.
Get things
I would,
going.
yeah, I would if I I will go again as many times as I can to TKO. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Jacob's great. He's a clown. That's my handicap partner for life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've
Wait a minute.
actually played.
Yeah. What's the story there?
Yeah, so we've played two before, and the first time was at nationals, and we drew Brandon Munoz and McKaylee Nasty, and we
Ooh.
lost match ball, single a limb. So now we're
Oh.
done. And then we waited and we played at Worlds, and then we first round we drew Isabel and Bracklin, and
Wow.
they steamrolled us. Like we didn't
Really?
even make it halfway to 5, much less 8. Yeah, no, it was nowhere close. And they got to clown on us, throughout however long about how bad we are. And so we're like, "It's okay, bud. We're gonna play another one. Don't worry." And then like before we played handicapped here, I was like, "Man, I let you down." Like he's like, "We're gonna play a fourth one no matter what. We're locked for life." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"We're gonna have like $1,000 in handicap fees before we ever make it past the first round." He's like, "Yeah, we are." But we actually won this one. We made it past the first round. Thank the Lord above. We did. Actually, we were scheduled to play Tony first round, single a limb.
Whoa.
And yeah, and we were like, dang it, and it's okay, buddy. And then they redrew the bracket and made it double a limb, and I had to play Bracklin and Isabel first round. So we are like, here we go. They're gonna crush us again. And we've somehow got past them, and
Nice.
we didn't lose the match all weekend. We won, and that was great. I had never been to a handicap final or got to clown
Wow.
with Jacob. So and he took
That's
my snowflake sweater. So if you see him in that blue snowflake sweater, it's mine. Well, it was mine.
Oh, that was yours?
Yeah, he hijacked it.
That's a nice sweater. I like it. It had a nice vibe
Thank
to
you.
it. Yeah.
good
Yeah,
taste.
it was.
It
Good
was.
foosball
Good
player.
job,
It's his
Jacob.
now. Whatever. Yeah. He done got like stains on it like day one. I'm like, man, that's why we can't have nice things.
Seriously.
Seriously. This brings back memories of a new World Cup last time. You guys are swapping jerseys with players from Europe. Are you guys doing that at American tournaments?
I don't know. I think he wore it like just because he was cold and he
Oh,
happened to be in
got
the
it.
room with Bragg. He just
Okay.
grabbed it. And then so he left his there. And I was like, well, if you're going to take mine, then I guess I'll take yours. So he ended up sporting it like all weekend. Like it's like a
Love it.
blue, funny little girl snowflake sweater. But he does great with it.
Well, in that age, you're not easily embarrassed,
No,
Good
you
for him.
can't embarrass that kid. He doesn't
right?
care.
That's great. Wow. So I just wanted to make mention too the M Dubs, Jay Teal, who's one of our Patreons.
Yeah.
He and John McDermott came in first place. That was
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment. That was a big field too.
There was a lot. Yeah. Jay, I got a chance to play pickup games with him, which probably bolstered his confidence. He probably, I think that we co-shared that win, I think is kind of my takeaway from that.
Well,
Uh,
congratulations.
thank you. It's been a long
Yeah.
time coming. I think I earned it. I do wish, and you know what? I know it exists. I meant to bring it up again, because I want to go back to what Jay, because Jay is the bringer of chocolates, and I will be forever in his debt. But
The bringer of
Same.
yeah,
chocolates.
he brought
Yes.
bourbon infused chocolates that were
Oh,
just like
yeah.
I made. I was like, I looked like Homer Simpson when I bit into it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then allegedly he left 6 or 8 by the booth, and then Keith ate them all.
Okay.
I
There was
Blame on Keith.
definitely like
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
10.
10.
And Keith and I,
Oh, it
we
was
handled
you. You handled
Oh,
it.
okay,
That's a
so
nice
there
way
was
of saying
one
you ate
left,
them all.
and yeah, I
The
ate
last,
several.
the
Did
last
you get
one.
them the second day?
I had the salted caramel ones, but the first batch were the best, my opinion.
Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah, the almond
There
or
was an almond
the
that brought it all.
pecan.
There was like a toasted whatever. It doesn't matter. It was heaven.
It was great.
It
Yeah, it's the
was
best thing about Kentucky tournaments, hands down.
bourbon.
man. Let's talk food, shall we? Let's talk about. I know that there is a threat. It's not necessarily a veiled threat. A threat that Patreons may be treated to a meal cooked by none other than Adam Gilson in the near future.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and Jim Stevens, if he's there, he said. But
Mm-hmm.
depending on if the stars align and we have a kitchen, and Tom will MC. You'll be the impresario,
I
and
will.
we'll cook something up, something fierce,
Yeah. Something memorable.
something that
Uh,
doesn't rhyme with McRib, unless you're into that, and then I will totally like pick you up on.
Steak au poivre.
Ooh.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
I can
there you
make
go.
whatever. I can make whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. You give me a little tiny kitchen, and I can make magic. So it's there. Patreon
And
champion level.
Hannah, you can provide the goose liver. I think we'll go from there.
The hell is that even?
I've
Oh
got
yeah,
it.
she does.
Got it.
Oh, that's topical.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
duck
got it.
though.
Don't worry.
How many
Sure. How
ducks
about that?
are? How many ducks are in your garage right now? Like, where do you keep
I
them?
really don't have that many. Probably like probably like 20-ish.
It's
Okay.
like 20-ish more
Cold
than me.
storage.
It's probably 20-ish more than most rational people that aren't duck hunters. Okay.
Wait, did you have? Where do you store them at? Do you have like a freezer? Is it the freezer?
Yeah, I have a separate freezer
Yeah.
that I keep all of like the wild game stuff that we like have. So if you want something weird, you can just go in the weird freezer and like get stuff. It's not
The
like
weird
in all.
freezer.
We back when I used to work
Yeah.
at a restaurant, we would have 2 walk-ins, and the one that you didn't want to go in was the weird freezer.
This is something new to me. I've never heard the term weird freezer.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Well, I'm glad I'm not alone there.
no,
Thanks, Adam.
no. So the takeaway was is that you won handicap doubles and you beat Mike Genshin and Tony Sprademan. Wow.
Yeah.
What a hoot
that's
and a half.
awesome. That is awesome.
What a hoot and a half. I don't know. This is our first episode of this. There's no real time limits. I thought an hour ish, depending. Like sometimes shorter,
Mhm.
sometimes longer, depending. Because right now we're fortunate. The both of us, Hannah, were at this tournament this weekend, so we have a lot of stories there to tell. Sometimes it won't be like that, and sometimes there won't be anything coming up this coming week to really talk about. And I don't think there is. I don't think there's any.
Well,
the following.
we have something to talk about here in the Northeast.
Yeah, let's
Excuse
talk about
me.
it. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Holy monkey, look at those ruffled feathers. Don't get in the special freezer.
Hey
The
man,
weird freezer.
Sorry, weird freezer.
This is like, this is an event, okay? It's our next Smashdown. And it's happening this Saturday. 11 o'clock in the morning, amateur dubs. Then we've got open singles, open doubles, and a DYP. So there,
Very nice.
not chopped liver.
What is the tournament like the turnout usually fit
Well,
around for that?
We're looking at pretty good now. Turkey Day Smashdown is usually around 45, 50 people, which we had this
Nice.
last year. But this one's looking like it might even top that. We're seeing requests from people as far away as Montreal, also Western New York, which those guys usually show up. But we'll also see New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York City. I mean, there's a lot of interest in this, and I think it's because everybody's really sick and tired of being cooped up in the cold weather.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome that you have a scene like that you can have that many players show up and play
Oh,
several
big time.
events. Like that's awesome.
This guy's coming down from Canada. Justin Coyote is one of them. He's a wild man. He's come through a few times for our DYP and just wow. He's
Yeah,
he's in the,
he's
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 good.
special.
Oh
He
yeah.
is actually my first Bonzini partner.
Really?
Yeah,
No
we played
kidding.
nationals together last year.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, what a talented guy. He's got a lot
Absolutely.
going on. A lot going on. Yeah, he walked away with a bit of cash in one of our DYPs recently, and it's like, what was that? So he just threatened to take our money again this weekend.
Uh-oh. Well, tell him
So
I said hello and good luck to you
yeah.
all.
Oh, absolutely. It's looking forward to it. I got to play M-dubs with my partner Fenton Allen. He's Fenton Allen Jones. He's a phenom for someone his age. I mean, he's really come to life. And so we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we might make the finals. We'll see.
Wait, so he's like an old phenom?
Well, everybody's younger than me, okay?
Oh,
But he's definitely come into his own, later than most people, because
Oh.
most of us, start playing early on. He's really come into his own in his late 20s, early 30s.
well, I remember playing against him at some pickup matches. Him and DeJean.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, it did not go well for me. I should probably quit playing pickup matches. I don't. Maybe
You
that's
need to
What
play
is
with
going
Ellen.
on?
Am I the
That's the
common
only
denominator?
problem.
Ellen?
Right?
What's the Ellen problem? What is it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Ellen Moon, you need
Yeah?
to play with her.
Oh,
Yeah,
Why?
you'll win every time.
In
No doubt.
pickups?
she's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
mean, I know she's good. I didn't know that about the Ellen rule and pickups. That's awesome.
You gotta have Ellen if you want
Yeah?
to win.
Well,
Okay.
when Ellen was living in New York City, she used to come to the Smashdown, and she used to. My God, I still remember the first time I played her. She scored, I think, 3 slingshots on me in a row,
Mm.
and I'm like,
She will
what
do
do I
that.
do? What do
Yeah,
I do?
she's good. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in non-pickups.
Right?
That's
Me
incredible.
too. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wait, shout out to Shane Darby. Actually, he was somebody I played pickups with this weekend, but he carried me. So I was doing open-handed pull
Jane
kicks.
Darby, Stephen Darby.
Stephen Darby.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's who.
Mm.
Um,
Adam, we need to do something for you, man. We got to get your confidence back up. What is this talk? What is this?
you get a GoFundMe going where I can just become like privately, independently wealthy and tour. Nobody's thought of that
Okay.
yet, have they?
Maybe you should go the sponsor route, you know?
Yeah, but I'd
Right.
have to be good.
Yeah. No, just get somebody else. It's not as good.
Dude,
I don't know.
I don't
I'd
know.
get, sign on a shampoo company. I mean, with your hair, you could get a shampoo company in a heartbeat.
It's luscious and gorgeous.
It is.
Hey, you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't cover it. This is because I just wasn't there, unfortunately, because my whole schedule. But the USTSO events, I wasn't there while those
Oh.
were happening. But I know it looks like Jacob won the USTSO expert
Pro
sing-
or expert.
Yeah. Bracklin won. Bracklin won.
Rookie.
Rookie. Oh,
Yeah, he did.
congratulations for him.
Yeah.
So
that
who
was
won
nice.
pro? Oh, Michael. Michael Stahl
Michael
won pro.
Stahl. And it was
Nice.
a repeat. He won back to back. So he won it
Nice.
last year. Very cool.
No doubt.
Hey, Dan
Awesome.
Barber was there. I didn't see Dan Barber at all this weekend. Was he
Dan
only there
Barber
for
dipped
the...
out before you got there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nothing like seeing cheese. Rookie singles was Bracklin. And let's see, the women's, Maggie. Oh, so you played in that. Maggie won that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. She played great.
Carla was there? I didn't see Carla there at all. They were all
Carla
done?
was not there. No, her name was
Oh.
just on the thing. The brackets were actually wrong.
Oh, I got you. Okay. And Isabel, congratulations winning women's singles in D2. What's D2? I don't know how it was. D2 like second division? Division 2? Is that?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like split. Like if you had over X amount of points, you were in D1. If you were underneath X amount of women's points last year, you're D2.
Actually, Isabel having a good weekend too, winning expert dubs with Judy Schober. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Judy's
Very
a
cool.
fierce player. Another Patreon. She's doing really well.
She actually slammed my jacket, which usually you wouldn't think that actually, I appreciate that. Like usually people don't get one in like that on me, and I'm like, oh, she came out of nowhere with it. That was it. That's my story. Anyway, we got
nice try.
So no, yeah. So we have so this is so next Tuesday we're gonna be at it again. You're gonna be telling us about the what is it? The mash beat
Mash up.
mashup. No,
Mash down.
beat Smashdown.
The
Smash
smash down.
down.
Smash
can't-
down. Get it straight.
I can't. It's
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's
Do you need help?
Yeah, it's perilously close to Smash Mouth, and I don't need that in my life. Because somebody
Oh, I
once
have
told
something I need
me
to send you
the
for
world.
Smash Mouth. I got something to send you.
You do?
You'll
Uh-oh.
enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
The song Smash from
No.
Smash Mouth.
See?
Walking on the
Solid.
surface of the sun or something
No.
like that.
Oh yeah.
No?
No, it is one of the songs. I was more thinking the. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna sing it. I hate that song. It's from Shrek, but it's not from Shrek. But they hate it when you say it's from Shrek, and it's so funny.
It wasn't originally written for the movie
No,
necessarily.
it was written for
Well-
somebody from the '90s. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you
Hannah.
might enjoy it too. It's like they translated it back to like Arabic or some
Oh.
other Arabic, and then back to English, and it's like very proper and it's super enjoyable to read.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
So they
Like the
like,
lyrics,
yeah, like
yeah.
they went, yeah. Oh, I like
That's
that.
hilarious.
Oh, I would love to see
That's
that.
good.
Yeah, let's throw that in the show.
I
notes.
dig
See
it.
that. So you got that. So when we come back, you'll be talking about that, and then I think we'll have our first guest, or maybe two. I need to figure this out because there's tournaments coming up the weekend after next.
That's right.
There's going to be Moneyball. It's House of it's
House of Tournaments.
well, it's not. I think they're using the House of Tournament software, but that's Kopi Cam and Danny Dunn. But
Mhm.
well, we're going to have David on here to talk about because they're doing a bunch of things different in the House of Tournaments broadcast, and I'm going to be there. And I've heard of what's going on, and I'm not going to.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave that to David. And then of course the Foosball Sports Network is having the Dallas Fort Worth that same weekend. It's the DFW Championships.
It's a $5,000 tournament.
It is, and I'm
Yeah.
just excited for the fact that two high quality streams are going to be streaming at the same time over the course of one weekend, two different places. It's just going to be good.
It's a lot of foosball.
It is.
A lot of foosball.
So my point
That's
of
cool.
saying that is I don't know if maybe we could have Jason on here too to talk about it because
Sure.
but I'll reach out to both and just kind of see, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll be talking about a little bit of everything under the sun next Tuesday. So
At this point, they're going to have to get in line, man. You want to be on the show, get in line. Let's get the queue going here.
I've gotten multiple texts so far in this last hour. All of them from my mom.
Just saying.
Yeah. She said, "Clean your room." She said,
Oh,
"What's with all that behind you?" I said, "It's a bookshelf.
Clean your room.
You don't have bookshelves on your, stacks." Anyways,
By the way, can I just stop you for 1 second? As we're talking about backgrounds here, I think Hannah's got the classiest background of any of us.
thanks. Good thing you can't see behind it.
is that where your weird fridge is?
No, the weird fridge is in that room. But
Is
back
that a
there is like
sparkly
the pool.
bucket? What is that?
It's actually like a wine like a
Ooh.
stand, and up top of it has like a place where you can like chill your wine, like a wine bottle
Nice.
holder.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you're a wine drinker.
I do. I enjoy wine.
Now, when it comes to wineries in your area, what kind of wines
There is
There's
none.
7-Eleven.
There
are
are
none? Really?
zero.
Okay.
It's called the
Okay.
Sefco. And it comes in a
Sefco.
bag, and it comes in a bag and a box. Yeah, it's great.
A box.
No,
Well, listen,
we're
it's
not doing
okay.
this.
A box.
We'll have to talk wine in the future. I mean, IPA is not my only speed, right? Okay, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah,
you take
not really a big.
the bag out and put it in the
The bucket.
Look, this bucket was actually my grandmother's, and she just enjoyed sparkly things. She doesn't even drink, okay?
Oh, I love
But
it.
it was special to me when she bought it, so I kept it.
I love
you
it
go.
though. I like the
There you go.
In
sparkles.
regard, I do
Dig it.
too. Yeah, she was great with that. But in regarding to the bag, there's actually like an old drinking game that I once heard of from a friend called Slap the Bag, and it was about boxed wine, and you take the bag out of the box, and it's a big deal.
Oh.
How did you
Anyway.
well, on that note, we could save that
You
for
can
next
Google it.
week. No, I want
I'm so curious now. Slap the bag.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible.
We're going to be we're all
Well,
going to
there's not
be
much to do here.
Hey, wait a minute. We're all going to be in Vegas together, right?
Yes.
I think slap the bag is in order.
Oh, yes. We'll have to play a round or three.
Goodness. Yes, we will.
I don't want to go to it.
Hopefully we don't get that bored.
Well,
It's Vegas. We
it
can
is
find
Vegas.
something to do.
Yeah. There's lots of things to slap.
Oh.
So I guess we should I don't know, wrap up here. I
Or-
don't.
or is that
I,
what you're saying? That
I don't know.
you're
I don't. I don't know.
you're
But
done.
this is new territory. I don't know.
There is so much more we can fit into other shows, of course. So there's that. But yeah, man, I mean, I think this was, as far as the first episode of Foos Week, yeah, nailed it.
Hannah, any
Crushed
thoughts?
it.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I
did
think
you
it
all
was
like? I
good
mean,
stuff.
I thought it was fun talking. It was good. It's nice hearing. I don't.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of chatter in Twitch yet, but I think that's just going to have to happen over time. And I'm especially going to be interested to see when people that were actually at the tournaments, once they hear that this is going on Tuesdays,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and get a
Yeah,
chance to
and that's
come.
what I was thinking.
You know.
Because like it's kind of rough. Like normally, me as a listener, I wouldn't rush home and get on my computer to watch anyone talk about foosball.
Mhm.
Because I'm still like in the foosball funk. I'm like, oh, I gotta get home. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta get over this.
Recovery.
You know. But yeah, I think it would be really cool for the people there to hear this stuff if they haven't heard it. You know, if they didn't hear it live, I think it's gonna be super cool for me to go tell them about like, hey, we talked about something, you know, on FoosWeek. You should go check it out. And I'm still decompressing too. I've watched one match or two matches of mine from the weekend, but otherwise, I told Brackon, I was like, I just can't unpack everything yet. You know, I just need a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a few days, and then I'll go unpack, you know, whatever from the footage and stuff. And it was
Is that
just
how
like,
long?
I'm
Is that
just
like
tired.
that's the couple months or couple days? Kind of decompress.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be differently if it would be a little bit different if I had to go to a tournament in 3 weeks. But I have a little bit off, so I'm gonna wait, a few days. We're going to get our puppy tomorrow.
Oh
so
yeah.
Puppy.
I know, I'm so
What
excited.
kind?
Yeah, a yellow lab. His name's Casey. It's very cute.
Wow. And
Yep.
and how old?
He's 4 months old right now.
Oh, the best. The best.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And the labs are the best
Yeah.
dogs.
I think so.
Yeah.
And we just have a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, I'm not dealing with foosball yet. I'll just, I'll watch something because it came up, and that's what I want to do with it. I usually give it a little time and then focus and go back and watch everything and think. But my brain's tired.
Live a life.
That's it.
Then go back to
That's
foosball.
it. That's it.
Are we going to do parting shots here, or is that something we'll save for Foos Talk?
No,
Live?
I think it's a good way. We could just have it. Parting shots, last thoughts. I don't know. I don't know what we should do. It's a nice bit of closure. I like it.
Okay.
What do you think, Tom? You want to do some parting shots for us?
We're coming for you. Yep. This weekend at the Smashdown. Route 9, Clifton Park, Wicked Eatery. Trick Shots and Wicked Eatery. Be there. That's my parting shot.
Is it gonna be streamed anywhere? Is it?
Not that I know of. Although we have done some Facebook Live things before, but I'm thinking about maybe bringing in some microphones and just talking to people who show up.
Oh, get
I don't
some
know.
recordings in
Yeah.
there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I wanna
we'll
hear
play them
that.
back here.
I don't
We
know
can play them
any
back next week.
of that player base. Would
Okay.
love to hear if you should do some on the roads or something with them.
I mean, last time I talked to Kevin Westcott, but unfortunately the recording was kind of messed up, so we didn't get a chance to air that. But if Kevin's there again, I'll sit down with a more proper rig. So
Awesome.
yeah, cool.
Hannah, your last.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we got to wrap up TKO, and I'm excited to talk about the next one. Hopefully Freddie will go to Vegas and we can get some Freddie footage. That's about all I've got. Yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad we got to chit chat about it, and if anything comes up, on Facebook too, it doesn't just have to be like each tournament. Like we can talk about stuff on Facebook if any ideas come up or any new thoughts, processes, anything like that. I think we can talk about that kind of stuff too. So if you guys hear this, and it's not live, then feel free to send a message or comment or something so we can have an idea going forward of what you guys kind of want to gear this towards, because it's about you guys. It's about that. So I think that's cool.
Hannah, you said it. That was perfect. Yeah, it is. It's more about them than us. We're just kind of here to chat, talk about foosball, and have a platform for everybody else to come on and talk about it. So I'm excited to see as that progresses. I have outro music that I don't know if it's gonna be. If you can't hear it, are you all
Hey,
still?
I have a request.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
should be "Man of Constant Sorrow."
Yeah, Wait a minute.
Oh.
Oh, we didn't do the thing. Do the thing. Come on, do the thing.
I can't do the thing.
In constant sorrow through his day. I am a man in a constant sorrow.
10 seconds is all we get.
Oh, listen.
Okay.
Hannah, hold on. Wait. Look.
We're gonna leave it up
No,
to
no,
mystery
no.
for the
No, you
next
don't
one.
have to say the thing. You don't have to be the specifics, but I'm just saying, like, for everybody that stuck with us this long, they should hear this little amazing tidbit of information. Like, no? You want to be honest about it? You don't want to? Okay, fine. That's fair.
Like, I just didn't want to. Okay, well, we'll just say this. Somehow, Man of Constant Sorrow was connected to TKO, and it might have surrounded a draw or open doubles. I don't know, but it has something to do with the TKO tournament. So,
Okay, I like it. Okay,
and it was super cool.
it's a breadcrumb.
Mhm.
It's
That's
a
all you get
breadcrumb
For
until
next
next
time.
time.
for next time. Now, I'm gonna just press some buttons here and see what happens.
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, thanks y'all. Thanks everybody who's
luck.
listening. Thanks for all of the Patreons. Check us out. There's some music for you. See if it plays.